Hey guys, welcome to the webinar. So those of you who can hear us, just to make sure you can hear us, just give us a thumbs up in the comment section. We'll get sort of kicking off. We'll just give it another 30 seconds for any latecomers. If you are watching, guys, just thumbs up in the comments so we know you can hear us. So from here, guys, today's webinar is going to be on breaking through plateaus. So we're basically going to run through that. Like I said, just give it another 10 seconds or so for any latecomers. Yeah, some thumbs up popping there. Awesome, perfect. Righty guys, so if at any stage if you can't hear us, if the audio cuts out, just let us know in the comment section, otherwise we'll just keep running through. And we won't know, so let us know as we go. Perfect.
Cool. So as Frank said, the subject tonight is on breaking plateaus, and we've sort of broken this up into sort of different areas of where you might sort of be feeling that you're hitting plateaus with your training, nutrition, as well as some other sort of lifestyle areas as well. So we really want to stress as well that everyone does hit plateaus when it comes to all these different things like training and nutrition and so on. So it is completely normal to be reaching a point where you sort of are struggling for motivation, or physically feel like you can't lift anymore, can't put any more on the barbell, really struggling with your goals, or feeling like you don't have variety in nutrition and all of those things. So there's heaps of different plateaus that we can hit, but just be reassured that it's a normal thing to go through, and it all comes down to how you manage your training and nutrition when you do sort of hit those plateaus. So we're going to help you tonight with some sort of recommendations in terms of what you do ourselves, and obviously what your coaches are helping implement with you in the gym. So quick one straight off the bat, guys, make sure you are in communication with your coach when you feel like you're hitting a plateau. So that's the reason why everyone who does the transformations programs with us, why we call you every week, to make sure that we are checking in. Sometimes in the gym it gets busy and you don't get to chat in depth with your coach, so it is important to take that time each and every week to make sure you've got that touch point. So I just want to stress that straight off the bat. It is a good thing that you do hit plateaus as well, because it means you're improving, and then you can always improve more from there. So looking at training first and foremost, I suppose we do obviously periodise the training here for you, making sure that you are getting stronger and being able to lift heavier sort of week to week, which is why we do the retests and strengths and so on. Really prioritise making sure that you are putting effort into going up in weight when your coach tells you to. They obviously tell you to because they know that you can, and we want to sort of push the limit. So if you're always doing the same thing day in, day out, you're never going to get stronger, you're never going to get leaner, you're never going to get better. We really want to make sure at RBT we're better than normal. So we really sort of push the envelope with that, making sure that we're adding weight to our bar. And that goes hand in hand with prioritising your mobility to make sure that you're getting the best out of every session. I know there's been tons of webinars, there's tons of content on YouTube about mobility. So if you are struggling with certain areas, you feel like you're not getting the most out of your training in the gym, chat to your coach, chat to one of the trainers so they can help you and make sure you're doing your mobility drills correctly when you are. And jump on the YouTube and look at them all and watch all of the videos, because there's so much information on there that will really benefit you. Another couple of things that you
I think even just on that one, that's probably the biggest point of today, guys, is your coach is your point of reference for that. So really, if you hit any roadblock, don't feel bad, don't feel guilty that you might not have the motivation, or you feel like you're just treading through mud. That's what they're there for. Believe it or not, most people hit a plateau at some stage. It's really normal, and it's what we're here for, is to help you through those. So be as vocal as you can be with your coaches, and that's really the first step. That's probably the most important thing if we can get through tonight, is we're here to help you at the end of the day. If it means we need to have a sit down, we need to change something up, we need to look at mixing things up, we need something a little bit different, that's what we're here for. We're here to keep you in the game, basically. So never neglect that, never feel guilty, or don't talk to your coach because you feel bad about it, because you're like, oh no, I should just be motivated and I don't want to bother them. So we're here for it.
And believe it or not, we go through plateaus as well. So,
yeah.
and often it's just a bit of a refocus and a bit of a different set of eyes for you. You all know your goals, you all know why you're here, but sometimes you just need a bit of reminding, and having someone external to that too to help you through that is one of us. And like Kate said, we all go through it ourselves. Us as coaches, we're lucky, we help each other. So you guys are all signed to someone as your coach, so just reach out. That's what we're here for.
Awesome. Another quick couple of points I want to touch on that are more sort of training specific when it comes to seeing results in the gym and debunking some of those plateaus is adding the things like the saunas into your weekly sort of programming and sort of your routine. All the clubs have saunas, so adding a couple of infrared sauna sessions and also some Tabata, like HIIT style interval type training before or after your sessions, depending where you can fit it in. And also another thing is do stuff that's enjoyable for you sort of on the weekends if you want to be more active. Go out, do 1,000 steps, go for a run if you enjoy running. I'm sure some of you play in sports teams, so really enjoy the extra training or the extra stuff that's keeping you active outside of RBT as well. It's important that we find enjoyment and fulfillment with our training as well. It's not just a hard slog every day, even though sometimes it might feel like that. We really want to make sure that we are enjoying it, and as Nish said, remembering why we're on this journey and bringing it back to that, that purpose behind why we do what we do every day. We'll touch on nutrition in a minute now with Frank, but it's important because we need to remember why and have purpose. Otherwise, just training blindly without sort of a focus point or any goals, you are going to sort of feel a bit unmotivated and hit plateaus maybe more often than you might otherwise.
I think, and that's just that point out. There's a phrase we use a lot through here, guys. If it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. If you become too routine, your routine, there's nothing different about it. Your body adapts to it. It's no longer a challenge. It's not really going to force a massive change. So really, it's always looking for what can I do to change it up. And obviously, the big one that we mentioned there is getting the most out of your exercise. But it's anything and everything. It's really that extra few reps, that taking less rest time, just finding ways to push yourself a little bit further. Same goes for nutrition. It can be looking for better quality food. So if you consistently hit your numbers, now hit your numbers from quality food, really getting from or a wider range of food. So actually challenging and pushing the limits rather than just falling into routine. Routine, your body adapts to routine. It likes that. You need to give your body lots of fresh stimulus to actually force change. So if you fall too much into a habit, guys, that can be your worst enemy, unfortunately. So
just jumping in to is a reason why working with your coaches with your nutrition and your macros, why we do tailor and tweak it as we go. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's certainly very individual and a case-by-case basis on when we make those changes and when we need to make those changes for those that are being consistent with it every day. You might be the first one to put your hand up and say, I'm not hitting my numbers every day, I'm not having the best quality food sources. So focusing on those things first is really a priority as well.
Good. All right. So we might even just touch on nutrition. There, guys. Look, whenever I talk about food, I always say, look, people too often look for sort of the secret or that kind of that one thing that they're not doing that's going to change the game. At the end of the day, it's the basics. It's having a good foundation. So if you are in a rut, before you start to look for any sort of magic or kind of wonderful kind of fix to the problem, make sure we're just hitting it. Make sure we're hitting it at a really elementary level. Are you hitting your numbers? Are you hitting your macros, your calories? Are your macros, your calories a fair representation of what it should be? If you've been training for 9 months and have the same calories, macros you started with, chances are it's not necessarily the case and you have really good results in those numbers. You need to have them changed up. Brings you to my point before. If it's not challenging you, it's not going to change it. If you're used to that routine, the body's not going to get a fresh stimulus from that. So it needs to be adjusted. Now, we can manage that further. We can look at things like micronutrients. So we can look at, are you deficient in minerals? Are you deficient in vitamins? Is there enough antioxidants in your diet? So these are things. And look, I won't go into too much detail with that because there are other blog posts and webinars on how to assess for deficiencies of certain nutrients, how to find extra nutrients to get them into your diet. So you can have a look through our library of videos for that. But it's just worth considering. Okay, first let's rule that out. Let's rule out hydration. Are you hydrating? If your goal is to put on muscle mass and you're chronically dehydrated, impossible. You physically cannot build muscle mass if you're dehydrated. In terms of being able to train dehydrated, good luck. It's very difficult. So just something as simple as that can help you break through that plateau. If you find, especially if you train in the morning and you feel really fatigued and you feel like you can't go, try having a little extra water before bed the night before. Try being hydrated the night before, because if you come into the gym and you haven't had much to drink that morning and you are dehydrated, that will play a part. So, I mean, that's a really simple one there. In terms of keeping it fresh and break through plateaus, play around with frequency. So once again, it's just changing the game up. If if you traditionally have a very small breakfast because you're in a hurry and then you have kind of lunch sporadically when you get it, and then dinner you just chow down in a massive dinner. Play around with that, mix that up. The body does respond to change. That's a big thing that we're trying to get out of tonight. Mix that up. Increase your frequency or decrease your frequency. And talk to your coach about intermittent fasting and things like that. We can looking at actually decreasing the time your eating window, so the window of time of day that you actually are eating. Little things like that. It sounds not super important, but it does mix it up, and that sometimes it's a gain of 2-3%. Just that little bit change here and there that will make it up. A big one, guys, that I can drive home as well is change of foods. I've read something this morning. I'm going to get this number wrong, but it says the average person has a staple diet of about 7 to 15 foods. I want to say. Correct. Apologies if I'm not 100% that number, but the point is that we kind of eat from the same amount of foods every day, day in and day out. Creatures of habit. So if those 7 to 15 foods aren't giving you your vitamin C requirements, your magnesium requirements, your zinc requirements, you're going to be deficient every day because you're not getting it. You might occasionally, I went out for dinner and ate something I don't normally have, so you got it then. But mixing up your veggies regularly, so getting more reds and purples veggies in your box, your shopping trolley, which is usually the ones that are missed out on, as opposed to kind of your carrots, your iceberg lettuce, which everyone seems to have. Mixing that up, it's a really simple way just to get something fresh into your body, keep your digestive tract ticking over, and getting all those nutrients in there which do help promote fat loss. So think of it like that as well, guys.
It also keeps it interesting, so you're not eating the same thing day in, day out. I know, like, you can, and to do meal prep sometimes I know it's easier, and we do say, you know, I know I say a lot to the guys that I coach to say, do a big meal prep and do a big salad or something at the start of the week and have that, but each week change up the veggies with that salad, change up the protein you're having each day, you know, have that mix like Frankie was saying, so not only for, you know, health reasons, but also for, you know, hitting a plateau with your food. You know, changing it up is as good as, you know, having steak instead of having chicken, you know, does a world of wonders. Having kangaroo, I've just rediscovered kangaroo this week and I'm loving life. You know, it's lean, it's, you know, you can have so much of it and you feel really full. And, you know, I'd forgotten about it until Pat reminded me about it last week and said, oh, how come you haven't been having kangaroo? And I went, oh, yeah, awesome.
Quick one with this too, guys. I mean, we're not really dropping any huge knowledge bombs on you right here, but it's all stuff you probably kind of know and you know you probably should be doing, and you just don't prioritise it. So bringing that point in is really analysing. You know, what I like to do with people on my mental list is to make sure that they are kind of assessing their goals, if not daily, even, you know, weekly, and keeping a diary in, which some like us are doing. To obviously keep the reason why we're training pretty high on our list, and making sure that we are actually prioritising those little things like food prep, like doing your progress photos, which we'll touch on in a minute, and doing your measurements in the gym and your, you know, your fortnightly body fat scanning for those of you that do the full program. Those things are really important for us as coaches, because we can only you know, monitor what we're measuring with you in the gym. So we can't be mind readers all the time, as much as we might try. You know, if you're not telling us exactly what you're eating, how are we going to know? You know, we're not Big Brother, we don't have cameras everywhere. So with that one, really prioritise. Like, it might not be your biggest priority, which is okay depending where you're at, but acknowledge that, and acknowledge that might be a limiting factor for you in reaching the goals. You know, all your goals as quickly as, you know, some others. I know we say, you know, don't compare yourself, because you're on your own journey. It's okay if it's not your number one priority to do food prep on the weekend, but it could be a limiting factor for you. If you're avoiding doing photos, if you're avoiding doing measurements every week, chances are you're probably avoiding it because you're feeling a bit guilty because you know you're not sticking to your plan. And that sounds a bit harsh, but it's, you know, most likely true. I've been there myself, so staying accountable with it is a huge part of it, because it's either going to, you see those photos and it acts as a bit of a wake-up call to say, you know, pardon my French, but, you know, shit, I'm not doing everything right because I can't see any changes. Or it goes, oh wow, this is pretty reassuring, the fact that what they're telling me to do is working. I'm going to keep doing it. It's re-motivating, it's reassuring. So as we've already mentioned, guys, bringing it all back in, just that communication with your coach one-on-one every day. There are obviously other factors that, you know, might limit you in terms of your stress levels and your sleep, and I know Ben's spoken to a lot of you He's done webinars on that. Ben from South Melbourne has done a lot of content on the impact that can have on your sort of fat loss journey or muscle gain journey, whatever your goal is that you're trying to achieve with RBT. And we obviously want to be on your side with that. So as much as we can help you, we really, really need to know, because we really, really want to help you, because us helping you is us as RBT fulfilling our goals to help change people's lives as well. So remember that, and don't be afraid to ask for help is the other big thing. If you're hitting a plateau, or you feel like you might be heading down that way with low motivation or something, put your hand up. Just takes 5 minutes. We can have a chat on Facebook, over the phone, over text, over email, whatever works for you. Okay, so really don't be a stranger when it comes to communicating, or don't feel like your problem is less important than anyone else's, or it's basically don't undersell yourself. If you're not feeling 100%, we need to know about it so we can get there.
Yeah, and look, I don't want to mention this start, guys, just as we sort of start to finish up. If you do have any hard-burning questions, whack them in the comment box now. We'll go through them at the end. So start getting any questions in if you've got any. Basically, just to summarise, to make it as simple as possible, really what we're looking at there, guys, is that if you do feel like you're reaching that sort of bit of a plateau, or you've kind of been stuck in one for a little bit, the first place to look at is obviously have a chat with your coach, have a chat with whoever's handling your nutrition, your exercise regime, that sort of thing. Have a chat to them, and they'll be able to give you the best strategies relative to you. Number 2, make sure you're hitting your foundation. Make sure you're hitting your numbers in terms of your food, you're hitting the hours you're meant to with your exercise. Make sure you're getting enough sleep, and you're staying hydrated, and you're managing your stress levels. All the elementary basic stuff for good health. Really, those are the things. So, if we mess those up, that's really going to affect us. Goal setting is then probably the third point to really drive home, is that if you are feeling like you're stuck in a bit of a rut, really find out why you are doing this. Reset a goal, have a short-term, mid-term, long-term goal to sort of chase, and that's a really good way. I need it myself personally. If I'm just training mindlessly with maybe just a really big end goal, nothing between, it doesn't work for me. I need stops.
An example, I am really quite terrible at push-ups, and a couple of weeks ago I set myself a goal to do 10 every day at 4:30. And 10 every day at 4:30 came into me doing 10 every morning when I woke up before I came to the gym, 10 at 4:30, and then 10 before bed, because it's easy to do just 10. And then 10 became 15, 15 became 20, and now I'm feeling like a boss because I'm getting through 20. Without having to drop to my knees, and that's over the course of 2 weeks. And I just really struggled to get the flight out on my toes a couple of weeks ago. I tell you that. First put my hand up and say they're not my favourite exercise by any stretch of the imagination.
And with goals like that, it's good to set yourself a little reward for it as well. So it sounds a bit corny, but give yourself a reward for getting to that goal.
I bought new Tupperware containers for my food prep.
Not just those long-term goals of going, wow, I'm going to look fabulous, I'm going to buy myself, a new dress, or I don't know what a guy's wear, new shirt. I don't know how guys reward themselves. Sorry.
Boxing shoes.
But just those little rewards, whether it's little or big, but something to celebrate that success for yourself.
Yeah.
Really be proud of yourself that you've achieved that. It is good, every goal is a goal achieved. So tick it off your list, have a time frame around it. I know with all of us here at Hawthorn, with all our guys that we coach and everything, we always say to them, set us goals, write them down, send them to me, give them to me, we put time frames around them. We manage against those goals, and if we do need to refocus, we refocus with each and every one of you to make sure that we can get there.
Yeah. So it is a two-way street. Obviously it's our job to make sure you're continually improving. And we want to do the best job we can for you, and you communicate with us, and that's how it works. So no secrets, no huge knowledge bombs tonight, as I've said. It's just a bit of a refocus. I know that we've gone over in the last couple of months a bit about goal setting and some motivation stuff that the North guys did. That webinar was in January. So it's all stuff we do know, but it's always nice to have a refresher and hear it from some different faces and some different voices, just to drill it home even further. So if there is any questions, if you do have questions, you sort of feel like you don't want to ask it here, that's fine. Just hit up one of the coaches that we've said a million times already. So just obviously that's an important point, guys, because we mentioned it about 20 million times. But that's really where we get the ball rolling, is having that communication, making sure that we can help you come up with a plan. So you're not alone in having to feel like you're hitting a stagnant point and having to override it. Because it feels pretty terrible when you are either lacking motivation or if you just feel like the bar's really heavy, and you're going to have those bad days. But remember how they feel, because it's going to make the good days feel even better.
Alright guys, so as long as there's any questions there, that's it from us at Hawthorn. Thank you for your company this evening.
Thanks for visiting, guys.
Great night.
See you later.